Hi, my name is Yuslin. Let's get
Mhm.
to know each other. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yes, nice to meet you too, Tyree. It's an honor to have you with us today, and I hope that we can learn from each other, as the title of the platform is "Let's Get to Know Each Other." So,
Hmm.
and trust me, I have a lot of questions, so please get ready.
All right.
Don't scare him away, Jennifer. All
Um,
right. So usually we let the guest introduce himself
Yep.
or herself so the audience can get to know him or her. So
mhm.
it's not going to be an exception for you. We want you to introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure, everyone. My name is Tyree Floyd. I am a certified financial planner with Northwestern Mutual. I've been in financial services since 2003. It's the first industry I've been in since graduating from Mercy College in Westchester, New York, with a degree in business. Um, as I stated, I'm a certified financial planner, but I also hold a master's degree in finance from Pace University. So it's always been a lifelong mission of mine to sit at the table and help diverse folks make those tough decisions, right? How do you plan for retirement? How do we send our kids to the school of choice with as little bit of debt as possible? So it's an honor to be here to work with you and your community and share some gems along the way.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
That's very. I'm surprised actually, because you've been to Mercy, me too, and you've been to Pace as my sister. So yeah.
Oh man.
Did you say Pace University?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you did.
Wow, what
Yeah,
a coincidence, huh?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
Jennifer went to Mercy College, and
exactly.
then I graduate my master in Pace University at Pace University.
Oh man, we are on the same wavelength.
Yeah. Well, truth be told, I someone contacted me from where you working now,
Okay.
and I felt like I didn't have the experience enough. So
Okay.
I tell them the truth. I said, I really like the position that you're like you guys want to give in me, but I don't think I have the knowledge enough. And they
Uh-huh.
said that okay, as soon as you graduate, you can apply with us again, and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, and they were
Um,
happy because I was can I say that I was like when you don't lie to people just to get what you want.
honest, right,
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right,
I was
right.
very honest. Yeah, exactly.
Honesty.
So yeah. Hmm.
Well, she learned that from me. Yes, Tyree, I'm sure our conversation is going very well. Um, Already we have a like let's say a big coincidence that we went to same school.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Small universe.
small universe, right? So yeah, I want you to talk more about yourself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Beside your like certification and
yep,
financial can you please repeat financial.
yeah, sure. Yep. So certified financial planner.
Mhm.
And as Jennifer mentioned, right, she had a opportunity to work with my current company, Northwestern Mutual. Before joining Northwestern Mutual, I spent close to 10 years at Morgan Stanley. And it was a great opportunity. I worked with advisors in many different capacities, helping them to understand how annuities and life insurance works. I actually had an opportunity to go out in Texas, right, to help them train their financial advisors. Texas, great state. However, right, I got homesick and I wanted to be closer to family and friends. And then, COVID hit, so it just made even more sense to come back east. So on a personal level, right, married, I have a 2-year-old son, Ian Alexander Floyd. He's currently in daycare right now. But the reason why I made the switch to go independent was this is an opportunity where if I'm successful, I'm able to impact a lot of folks in their lives. This is a business that I can leave to him, right? And when you think about our communities, what's the best way to get a head start? I think it's a couple of things, right? Investing in education, and the second would probably be ownership, right? If you can get those two things together, right, provide your young children with a solid education, a solid foundation, and then teach them the benefits of owning versus renting, right? The payoff will be a tremendous when they're our ages, right? You know, so if we can start when they're young, instill in them education, the great equalizer, instill in them, right? It's better to lend money than to borrow money, right? It's better to own an asset than to rent an asset. I think that's going to be the change of our demographic. That's going to be a change for our communities.
Definitely, absolutely. And I really like the idea of not, you know, well, I wanted to do something more like like personal or and
Yeah,
helpful, like to people in general, not only
yeah,
focus on your career and you know that what we usually do as like professionals, like most of us actually
mm,
we study something, like we have a
mm-hmm.
degree, and then we just focus on getting money and then
Right, right,
keep
right,
our
right.
knowledge for ourselves and not sharing
Mm,
like other people or help them to get where we are right now. So I really appreciate that you
mm-hmm.
not only educating yourself but also interested in helping other people to educate themselves, and
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. It's something that I take pride in. When you think about, you know, communities of color, black and brown, there's
Mhm.
certain things that, you know, I mean, I don't want to speak for you guys, but I can speak for me, right? Mom and dad weren't really talking about stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They weren't talking about how to be financially literate, right? So, being that I sit in this seat, I take pride in, you know, sharing the information, the knowledge, trying to demystify stocks versus bonds. One of the things I do on the side is I'm a adjunct finance teacher at Mercy College. So, you know, I often tell the students when it comes to investing, um, when you talk about stocks, right, don't think of something that goes over your head. Think of something that you know, a business, right? And that's the same thing I tell clients. Don't get caught up in this, I want to buy stocks. Think about what type of business do you want to own, right? Don't get caught up in this stock is this price, this stock is that price.
Mhm.
What businesses do you like, right? Do you like Nike sneakers, right? If you like Nike sneakers and you're constantly buying new Jordans or Kevin Durant's or Kyrie Irving's, why don't you invest that money into the company itself, right? You're spending $100 on the sneakers. Why don't you just buy the stock?
That is,
You know what's funny?
that is
Exactly. I was talking with my boyfriend about it, and I
Mm-hmm.
told him that we were walking, um, we were coming home from the gym, and then we saw a place that um, the place used to have sneakers. They used to
Okay.
sell sneakers. Yes, and I said, but now they are renting the place. And I told him that maybe we could get this place
Mm.
to, yeah, to continue the same business, or maybe we can open a barber shop
Mm-hmm.
with like a studio. We can do something, or even Haitian restaurant, because the place is very big.
Right.
Yes.
and
And
is
yeah,
well placed.
what is it?
Is it well placed, like where you know
Yes, so very well placed. Yes.
Mhm.
It's in Uptown Chicago, so it's very well
Mm.
placed. Yes, and there are the mixed culture there. But
Okay.
the only thing missing is a Haitian restaurant. Yes. So I was like, maybe we can do something about it, and he was all
Uh-huh.
excited. So, and I said, maybe not now, but yeah, but in the future we can. But For him, when you put idea in his head, he
Hmm.
has to start right away. He
Okay.
doesn't it like you usually like if you want to do something, it's right away.
Right.
So he was still thinking about it, and I was sleeping last night. He was still thinking, yeah, like I love this
Mm.
enthusiasm. Yeah, when you find people like this, it's very good. So now I'm thinking about open a restaurant or my makeup studio or
Hmm.
selling sneakers.
Now,
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
what I would probably say too is one of the things that happens
Mhm.
is we overanalyze, right? So is that saying paralysis by analysis? So I like when your sister says go for it. So what I would probably say is
That's
you and
it.
your boyfriend go check out the phone number of the person who's selling the property, call them up, right? What are you asking for, right? Who are some of the banks you're working with? At least you can get the ball started, right? Because it's not saying that it's going to happen overnight. But if you wait, you're losing opportunities, right? Somebody else is going to open that Haitian restaurant and call it Jennifer's, and it ain't going to be you.
Exactly. And the funny thing that places keep on being pointing right now.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's a very good opportunity to do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Tyree. I think you should take you and Oli should take the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely find out the information, and if there's anything that you need, right? Me and my team at Northwestern Mutual could definitely help navigate, right? So if there's something that you don't understand, the lending terms, right? The down payment, right? The monthly mortgage,
Mhm.
feel free, reach out. I'd be more than happy to share what I know.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think it will be a family business. So if
Mm.
I don't reach out, you usually probably reach out or my other sister, yeah, they can reach out too.
You
Yeah.
better reach out to Tyree
I will. I will. I will.
because you are in charge of the business. So you need to get
Hmm.
the information like directly.
I even dream about
Exactly.
sending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tyree, do you always wanted to,
Mm.
focus on that, area?
Yeah, it's funny. When I was in school, I think it was maybe, I don't know, was it sophomore year, junior year, we have to declare a major.
Hmm.
And I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So they gave me one of those tests you have to take. It finds out what your interests are. And it came up with two opportunities for me. It said I should either look at social work or go into business. And these were two separate fields. um, so I started talking to the counselor, and he basically said, look, social work is great. You could help people, but there's really not a lot of money in that, right? You're probably going to have to go back to school, right? Go get an advanced degree before you can really start making money. He said, why don't you try to look at the business track? So I started taking business courses, and I wouldn't say I loved the courses, right? But I felt that they made me more control of my life, right? Because I took accounting, I took marketing, right? I took business leadership. So I thought if I can't find a job, right? Worst case scenario, I've learned a little bit to start my own business,
Mhm.
right? So those courses were really interesting from the aspect of, well, I can start my own company if I want to some point. Long story short, I did get an internship at a company called Merrill Lynch my senior year of college, and it happened coincidentally. I was reading a business magazine on the train one day, and it was talking about investing. I run into a former classmate, and she goes, "Oh man, you invest?" I said, "No," right? And she goes, "Oh man, I've worked with this great guy. You should give him a call. He's always helping people invest their money." So I said, "Okay, I'll meet him."
Mhm.
So I went to the gentleman's office. I told him I had $500, and I'm looking to invest. And he's like, "Well, $500. I really can't help you with $500. But do you have any interns lined up? I need to hire interns." And he said, "We give you some school credit, and you can learn a little bit more about business." And I said, okay. So I interned at Merrill Lynch for probably close to a year before graduating. And it was a new experience for me, ladies. This was my first time ever being in a corporate setting, right? So I'm in this place with, Asians, whites, and I'm used to just being around mostly, diverse minorities. And
Mhm.
here I'm like, oh man, this is kind of intimidating, right? But I learned a lot, right? I learned about dressing professionally, probably the biggest takeaway, right?
Mhm.
Coming from coming from the inner city, we're not wearing suits and hard bottom shoes, right? So I really got a first glimpse at how do you dress, how do you act like a professional, and learn about, stocks, bonds, and things like that.
So how did you like it?
Ooh, that's a big one, right? It took me a real long time to get comfortable, right? And again, it was different because culturally it was so different, right? Being in a professional setting, again, you're with a lot of people who they don't look like you. They
Mhm.
have different experiences from you, right? Their mom and dads are going to the Hamptons on the weekend, right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh, my parents, they're not going to the Hamptons, right? And they talk about these fancy restaurants they go to. So it was very intimidating, and it took me a while, right, to acclimate. But where I gained comfort is that, look, we all have different experiences, right? And I shouldn't be comparing, right, what you did with what I do,
Mhm.
right? We all come from different backgrounds,
Yeah.
right? So I just have to keep that in my mind, right? We all come from different backgrounds. We all have something special to bring to the table. So just be me, learn what I can, and take it one step at a time. So eventually, I started to get the hang of it, right? I started to feel okay. Like I don't have to assimilate, be right Tom Jones, right? I'm going to be Tyree,
I,
and it
mhm.
is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the power of diversity. Like
Mhm.
Hmm.
we're learning from each other,
Right,
and
right.
that's a great benefit. It's like we all getting a piece of the cake.
Hmm.
You're learning from me, I'm learning from you, and I'm sure there are like different things. They are not the same because,
Right.
like you said, different background, different life experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. I think living here in the U.S. Um, that's the first thing that I learned
Mm,
work in diversity, and yeah, I don't think it's easy. It
mm,
never get easy, but if you want to take the steps, if you want a change in your life,
right.
if you want to grow, that's the root.
That's
Mhm.
exactly spot on.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
But
So
the thing is, even if we even if when I was going to school, like before the COVID, I used to go
Hmm.
to Berkeley. So before that, going to class was very intimidating for me.
Mm,
Like, the way the teachers talk, and I had um let's say I had different teachers from different
right.
backgrounds, but they were very intimidating.
Mm,
So I started to regain myself um, at Berkeley when I started.
okay.
Yeah, at Berkeley when I started for business, because
Mm,
I was actually, I was at Mercy, but not for business, for occupational therapy.
okay.
Yeah. So after Mercy, I went to Berkeley, and from there, the first thing they teach you is how to be confident.
Mm,
Yes, how to be confident, and that's one of the things I like. There was one of my teachers that I was scared of. He was the coach. Remember? Yeah.
you know who he
The
is.
the the thing is, he's very
He's the
funny. He's
coolest
very
ever.
open minded. He talks about everything, but the way he comes at you,
mm,
oh my God, no, like. Even if sometimes is when I'm in the classroom and he asks a question, and the first thing the first person you always call is me. And this, yeah, that's one of the things I hate. So as soon as he said Jennifer, my palm, like my face, I was
Oh,
sweaty. But it was for a good reason, because I learned to um believe in myself.
I think that was
Yeah,
the purpose. I think he sourced something in you.
exactly.
right.
And one day I was sitting in class, and students were like, were class was about to begin, and as soon as he walked in the class, and right at the door, as soon as I turned my head, and it was like, Jennifer. I was like, I just can't take it anymore. And he actually touched my back, and he said, I just want to say, how are you? And I said, "Really?" Yes, because I was sweating already. And this is the first class I learned to study every week. Because,
Wow.
yeah, every week, because every week we have quizzes. And the first person he always called is me. So, and I was always sitting on the first row because of usually. Usually I'm always in the back. But she said, no, if you want to learn, you have to sit in the front row. I said, okay, even if I'm sitting in the front or in the back, I'm gonna learn. And she said, no, it's not gonna be the same thing. So put
Mm.
yourself on the front.
I know,
So I
I
went.
know exactly why I tell you that, because I know that you are trying to hide yourself,
Exactly.
and I
So
am trying to, to
yeah,
let
like,
you see your own self, because I know that you are capable of like
yeah, and
everything, but
I
you're too
remember,
afraid
um,
like to even look
Mm.
at yourself.
yeah, and the last week from that semester, he called me, and he said, you know, you are a good student and you have a lot in you. So remember, from the beginning of the class, I was always calling your name, is because you were very shy. I had to do
Mm.
something to make you feel more comfortable. And since then, even in my Zoom classes, I'm always the first one to talk. Always
Okay.
the first one to ask question. Yes. So I gain more confidence. So yeah. And I don't think that I'm gonna be afraid to work in a place where there are different cultures now. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man. I mean, confidence is key,
Yeah.
especially, in the business world where we're trying to communicate our thoughts and ideas, right? And trying to figure out what's going to get us out of our comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? Because we've probably all heard the saying, right? You don't grow staying in your comfort zone, right? So if you really want to grow, step out your comfort zone, and you'll start to see breakthroughs. So kudos to you, Jennifer. Good stuff.
Mhm.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and then I start like thinking outside the box,
Mhm.
Mm,
because getting too comfortable, it's almost the same.
right,
You want
right.
to see what you see, like you don't want to see like outside the box. You
Mhm.
just want to see, okay, I see this. Okay, this box is brown, is brown. I don't want to see what's in it or outside of it.
Right.
So yeah, it's important
For
that we
for
do.
you to be a financial planner, like you have how can I say that? You have guts. 'Cause, yeah, you do, because you first off you have to be a good leader.
Mm,
Yeah, and you you have that you need that confidence too,
yeah.
and you should know how to listen to people. So
Mm.
that's in order to help them. So shout out to you, like you're doing good. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's not
appreciate
easy.
it.
Yeah,
And you're
it's
right,
not
Jennifer.
easy.
Absolutely, you need to have that confidence.
Yeah,
Also, you need to be a good listener.
yeah,
Mm,
It's
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Imagine
yeah.
if client that's trying to explain something to you, and you're like, you are not listening, by
Mhm,
what the client figure it out by
mhm.
like you asking question before even listen to what she or he say. So yeah, be a good listener is amazing
Yes.
when it comes to that. So Tyree, I want to know more about like your experience, like helping people. Like,
Yep.
there's a group that you prefer to help. I'm
Yes.
not gonna be generalized anything, gonna generalize anything, but there's a group that you like feel more comfortable, like helping, or it really doesn't matter. Like what's the
you know,
more challenging? That's the question.
what
Challenging
I would,
your job.
the way I usually break it down is
Mm-hmm.
I'll start with the easy to the complex.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest people to work with are those who have somewhat of an immediate need. And I break that down into three categories. Someone who's recently gotten married or divorced, right? There's a need because now you went from one budget to now two. And you may need to work with a financial planner to make sure that you're doing things correctly, right? How should we now save for our goal of retirement? Before it was just me,
Mm-hmm.
right? But now we have dual incomes. We need to figure things out. The second would be people who have young children at home. Very easy to talk to, right? Because most people want to make sure that their children's financial future is better than theirs, right? Most people want to say, look, I had an X. Well, I want to make sure that my son or my daughter doesn't have to go through the same thing, either student loans or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
The third group is someone who's recently transitioned jobs, right? Someone who's been, either laid off or switched companies. The reason I think they are easier to speak to is because you may have had a benefit at the old company that you no longer have, and it may impact your financial well-being, right? Maybe your employer provided you with a pension.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to retire and you're like, oh man, I wanted to retire at 55, but I don't have this pension. Can I still do that? Right? Or you may say, my employer did provide me with health benefits or some type of benefit. I don't have that anymore, right? So they would be interested in having a conversation. The hardest, I'd say, individual to talk to is probably the person who's insecure, right? Because this is the person that says they know it all, they've done it all, but really they've done nothing, and they don't really want to share because of their own insecurities, right? They're afraid that they just haven't done enough,
Mm-hmm.
and they rather keep their head in the sand than come out and ask for help. And the way I position myself, ladies, is I want to be someone who has a partnership with you. I'm not as concerned about a product because everyone at some point is going to get a product, right? You're going to buy a stock, you'll buy a bond, you'll buy a mutual fund, you'll have an IRA. I'm not concerned about that. But I think what we miss is a partnership and a plan, right? So as a certified financial planner, it's my job to put together, right, a written document that shows you how do you get from point A to point B. And if something happens, how do we make adjustments, right? So again, the hardest individual to work with would be, the person who, and it's a lot of those in our community for whatever reason, right? They're ashamed. They don't really want to ask for the help. But I'm here to say you don't have to feel that way, right? Because I wasn't born knowing about finances, right? It took my investment in education to learn about it. And now I just want to be a partner to you to make you more aware and help you get to where you need to be.
No, I agree, and you're right. The like hardest part,
Yeah.
like everything, not only your job. I believe like every job or everything that happened to somebody, like someone's life, it's like asking for help. Asking
Mm-hmm.
for help. It's not easy because I believe us human, we have that side of us. Not all of us, but the majority. That
Yep.
if I ask for help, first of all, this person gonna learn more about
Mm.
issues, my life issues, and also he or she will probably think that I'm dumb. When we
Yeah.
think that we do not have enough knowledge or education
Right.
for this area, and that's okay if we
Yep.
so,
Yep.
yeah.
You're right. It's and I try to, explain my story. Again, I tell everyone, I came from a single family home. Again, I wasn't, my mom and dad weren't talking stocks, bonds, right? Their message to me was stay out of trouble, right? That was it, right? Stay out of trouble. Don't get into any trouble. It wasn't, what do you want to be when you grow up? It wasn't, let's go to the bank and open up a savings account for you, right? So I didn't get this knowledge, right? I wasn't born with it, right? It took many years of investing in myself to make sure that I was the right person for you to help you with your finances.
No. And I really appreciated the fact that you decided to help people, because
Hmm.
sometimes we see something as a job, like, okay,
Mm,
just for to have a financial to be financially okay, but
right,
forgot that part that we are helping.
right.
And yeah, and taking these steps, helping other people while you're also helping yourself, I believe it's a huge thing, because in
Yeah.
our culture, even when, like, let's say at younger age, when parents send us to school, they don't have any problem if you have a few friends at school, you talk to them,
Mm,
and stuff like that, but they will tell you, do not share your homework with at school, like
Yeah.
them, do not, make sure you don't, forget your books, make sure that
mm,
I take your books or whatever. It was
Bring
just
your
like,
friends.
yeah,
Yeah.
that, like, thought they have, like,
mm.
this person want to harm you, like, okay,
Okay.
it's not okay to share your knowledge. But
Oh,
with time, and with like the diversity that we have now,
mm,
and because we traveling the world, we have other
right, right.
it's not the same as you were at just one part of the world. You're learning about the world, you're
Hmm.
about people, diversity and stuff. So you make your own choice now, and you can educate your parents about that.
Right.
It's okay to share your knowledge. Actually, it's a good thing. No one can harm you
Hmm.
by, like, sharing your knowledge. But I believe, like, most of us, like the majority of us, stick or stay with that, you know, thought of people who
Mhm.
are going to harm us
Yeah.
if we share our knowledge, or if you are hoping to help. And we, like, I know, I know that some people, like, very cultural norms, they will be more willing to give you food,
Mm,
know? They give you food if you're hungry, give you some money instead of sharing their knowledge.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
And it's huge.
Um,
So if with like with young people like us, with like the initiative that we take of, like, helping ourselves but also helping other people, that
mhm.
we can make a
Right.
change, like with, you know the
Mm,
little mind of keeping things to ourselves and not sharing with other people.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hoard any knowledge, right? For me personally, it's you give and you gain, right? So by giving something of myself, I gain by seeing the joy on your face that you now learned something new. But
Mhm.
also, at some point, it will be reciprocated, right? I think that's just how the universe works. If you're going to be someone who hoards information, don't look for any information to come your way,
Exactly.
right? But if you're someone who gives, you can expect to be on the receiving end yourself. So that's my philosophy.
And I agree. Well, Tyree, I don't know if there's more that we need to know about you that you would like to share.
Look, I would definitely provide you all with my contact information so your listeners and viewers can feel free to reach out. Again, the first name is Tyree, last name is Floyd. My email, Tyree dot D as in David Floyd, Floyd, at N as in Nancy, M as in Mary, .com. The best number to reach me at, I am in New Jersey, right? However, I'm a native New Yorker, so I know my way around.
I
The
have
best number to,
questions about this too. Yeah.
yeah, best number is 201
Mhm.
285 7898.
Okay.
And
So
I will be more than glad to share this information with them while you know, sharing the conversation that we just like have.
Yeah.
um, where are you from exactly? I know. Yeah, that was my one.
Oh, okay, okay. So my mom is American,
Mhm.
and my dad's from Trinidad.
Mhm.
So half Caribbean, half American. Now I've never been to Trinidad, so
Mm.
maybe I'll get there at some point.
But yeah, you have the accent.
Really?
Yeah, you do.
Oh man.
Yeah, you do.
But
They when they speak, they have these nasal way. Yeah, you have it. So that's why I said I want to know where you from. Yeah, you have it.
Who's from Trinidad? Your dad or your mom?
my dad.
All right, so you take that.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't notice.
yeah, you have it. Yeah.
So Tyree, it's a privilege to have you here, and I'm sure that this is not going to be your last time
I hope not.
platform, because that's what we do. We
Hmm.
help each other. We share our knowledge. Other, like, you know, anyone who's willing to share their knowledge with the audience so they can get to know them and also get to know themselves. Um, and this been helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe sharing informations, like sometimes we don't even know like how helpful it is
Mm.
until someone call or someone send a message. Look, I really I was looking for this information. I really
Right.
appreciate that you have like this guest sharing this information with us and stuff like that. And that's how we put them in contact with the guests or
Yeah.
yeah.
And what I'll probably say one last thing for your guests as they think about looking back at this video, some of the things I'm able to help with that's very important in our community. One being long-term care insurance, right? It's just astronomical what it costs to care for an elderly parent, right? So if you have any viewers out there who have elderly parents and they're trying to figure out how do I provide care for mom and dad, right? That's something that I would definitely love to discuss with you. If you have any viewers out there who have small children and they're thinking about providing that young child with the best education possible, I'd love to talk to them about that as well. So again, I really appreciate you ladies helping me spread the word. We got something in common, Mercy College, Pace University, who would have thunk it, right? But we're all here together.
Small word.
And one last question. Oh God. Oh yeah. Um, one last question. Do you give lecture? If it's Zoom or in person?
Oh, I'd be more than happy to do any lectures, seminars,
Okay.
anything like that. I'm game. We put the group together, a topic they want to discuss, and I'll be there.
Okay. All right then.
Well,
Good.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, Tyree. Like I said, it is a
You,
pleasure, and
you know,
we'll have you again.
Thank you, and have a great weekend, ladies.
Thank.
thank you.
Let's get to know each other.
Yes. And before we go, can you please say it in Creole? You can repeat after me if you want. Anu,
Anu,
Yoon,
Yoon,
Apran,
Aplan,
Apran,
Aplan,
Kon,
Kong,
Lot.
Lot.
Anu Yoon, Apran, Kon, Lot. It means let's get to know each other in Creole.
Oh, got it.
You said it.
Well, it's really been a pleasure, Tyree. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again.
Thank you, ladies. Have a good one.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.